Ooh.
Show me the money!
It's what Jacob Parker's saying, isn't it?
Show me the money!
Yeah.
Show me the money!
Charlie Foster.
Show me the money!
Ooh. Wow. We're live in the Bank Plus studio, Out of Bounds, 105.9 The Zone, ESPN. Of course, you can listen to Mississippi State baseball, Neil and Jay Powell, on 105.9 The Zone, ESPN this year. And kind of lined up, didn't it? That we switched it over. We felt good about it, and it's what we needed to do. You need MSU baseball on the 50,000 watt ESPN 105.9 The Zone. And on Saturday, I drove over to the Mississippi Delta to meet some friends and enjoy some crawfish, and then spent the night in one of their cabins. And we had some awesome wine and had a good time. And it was, so I was on the road for an hour and 10 minutes. You know, wasn't anything to it, right? Just north of Vicksburg. But I got to listen to Neil and Jay on ESPN 105.9 The Zone for, my longest period of time this year. So that was good. Nice. Did a great job. And Jay Powell will join us at 9:30 today on the Farm Bureau Insurance guest line, but he'll be live in studio. So you can watch that on YouTube. Search Out of Bounds Sports. YouTube channel, Out of Bounds Sports. The SEC Insider Hit this morning is presented by Farm Bureau Insurance. Bundle your auto and home and save with your local Farm Bureau Insurance agent in any of the 82 counties. Competitive rates are powered and driven by your local Farm Bureau Insurance agent. Bo Bounds, Straight Funk with you on a Monday. That was total domination in Oxford, Mississippi State with the sweep. First one since 2019, but won 9 of the last 10 series. And Mississippi State's rolling. I think there was a little bit of concern with McPherson out. Charlie Foster steps up, and, he was outstanding. And to get them where they wanted to be on Friday night. And Elliott was good too, by the way. And then things got nuts later in the game on Friday. Ole Miss ends up coming back and taking the lead. And then Mississippi State did what they needed to do in the top of the ninth. And kind of felt like, whatever win was in the sail was gone after that. And Saturday took over, and Sunday took over. Ole Miss tried to get some things going yesterday. Bases loaded, bases loaded. I mean, you just felt like, I guess, one swing of the bat. And yet, once the Mississippi State pitching got in trouble, they found a way to get out of it. And we saw explosive innings yesterday around the league, Saturday, right? You see that. And Mississippi State did not allow that. And so they go 3-0 sweep, 7-game winning streak, or whatever it is, 7-8. And it's been a while, right, since they lost. Was it Arkansas? Yeah. And now they got Georgia at home Thursday, Friday, Saturday, as the league will shift the deal for Easter weekend. And Duty Noble and Starkville will be packed. Yeah, no, I don't even know. I've never seen anything like this, to be honest with you. Even when Mangum was rolling, even when Tanner Allen was rolling, I've never seen anything like it.
Different feel.
Yeah.
They're expecting to win.
Well, I think, yeah. I mean, Mangum and them expected to win, and Tanner and them expected to win. No, when you go to 4 Super Regionals and 2 College World Series over your career like Mangum did,
right,
you won all the time.
Yeah, that's true.
So, and that was with 4 different coaches, a brand new stadium being built that kicked you out of that stadium for a chunk of games. I mean, what I think Jay Powell framed it up well 2 weeks ago. Yeah, Palmero and Clark were unbelievable, and their impact will always be felt. No, all that. They're Hall of Famers in the Mississippi State, book. Oh, yeah. But for Mangum to go through that many coaches and a new stadium being constructed, which was totally screwed up. They talked about fall ball and where they had to go and then not having as many home games. I mean, it's just a lot going on, and yet they were still going to Super Regionals and College World Series. I mean, that's really extraordinary. Yeah. That's remarkable. But what happened this weekend, when you go over there to an Ole Miss team, they're not winning the games that they want to win, but they have players.
Uh-oh.
Okay, so it's kind of like LSU. They're not winning the games they want to win, but they have players. They're still dangerous enough that if they get rolling in an inning, any of these teams can put 4 or 6 on you. And so you kept thinking, would Utermark or someone connect with the bases loaded and change the game? And Mississippi State pitching would not allow that. So, and Jacob Parker, I mean, there were a bunch of guys who were fantastic. Maluski hit another bomb to dead center. Now, the wind on Friday was something. Holy moly. And so that had people out, that had everybody scrambling a little bit. Kind of toned down a little bit throughout the weekend. What's up?
Man, just a good weekend.
Yeah.
It's a really good weekend around the state.
Well, I'm just glad you got out socially.
Me too.
The fact that you decided to leave your house, which you need to do a lot.
Yeah.
And go to the St. Patrick's Day parade at Martin's in downtown and actually watch the game and enjoy yourself.
Right.
I'm impressed.
Yeah, I was too. It was a good.
Did you bring your significant other?
I did. She was with me.
Okay. Did she have fun? Because I really don't care about you.
Me either.
Did she have fun?
She did.
Okay.
It was a good time.
So did you get up before noon
No.
on Saturday?
Nah, I mean, it was close. It rounded to noon, but it was close.
You rounded it to noon?
I don't need to be there for the whole parade.
Okay.
If I was,
what time did you get there? Roughly.
About 1:30, 2 o'clock. So the parade was over.
Oh, okay. So the parade was over.
Yeah, it was perfect.
Because there was no way in hell you were getting there by 10 a.m.
Nah, if I was going to do that, I was going to ride with 99 Jams.
Oh, Christiana had the thing rolling early.
Right.
Okay.
They were,
okay.
10:30, 11 o'clock.
Okay.
Which, I mean, I had good, I had definitely had some aspirations that I thought I was going to be able to do this. And I had,
You were very, okay, so what you're saying is you were very aspirational.
No doubt.
Okay, good.
And I thought,
You got your inspiration
from
this show.
That's right.
And then you were aspirational.
That's right.
Got it.
And, I had good intentions.
Okay.
I really
on
did.
Friday, was the plan, let's say Friday afternoon. You and Mackenzie are talking.
Yeah.
Was there ever a discussion about possibly getting there for the parade?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, 100%. Now, I never got a definite rock hard answer from her, which made me feel, all right, well, I can take this as, either or type deal.
Okay.
But then I found out it wasn't an either or type deal, and that she did want to go to the parade. But it was all right.
Okay.
We got there and it ended.
Oh, well, that's fine. I mean, you went. It's still fun.
Oh, we were there for the
but
hobnobbing.
Okay. So I was on the road to the Mississippi Delta by 2:15. I was listening to Jay Powell and Neil on ESPN 105.9 The Zone on the Saturday game. Took me an hour and 10 minutes to get to their place right off Highway 61. And, that walked in. They have this unbelievable man cave at their farm/hunting lodges. And it was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Their bar and man cave, I've been in some cool ones. Yeah. It's one of the nicest I've ever been in.
Okay.
The way it's set up is cool. I got there. There was nobody. They were in other cabins in the main house. So I went to the man cave. I went over to the fridge, ice cold Michelob Ultra. That's how I started it.
There you go.
Boom.
Oh, man.
And I met the guy that was cooking crawfish for us.
Nice.
2 hours later. He was nice as could be. And then from there, the game was on. So that was a big, this is Brian O'Connor.
Yeah, it's pretty simple. I win. Google me.
I think there's a lot of similarities between Brian O'Connor and Kurt Signetti.
I'm with you.
Seriously.
I agree.
Intense, no BS. Holy smokes. Do you have the O'Connor post game? All right. I think this is from Robbie Falk, but I'm not positive. So if I'm not giving someone credit, yeah, I guess I'm sorry. We are the Out of Bounds Show, ESPN 105.9 The Zone. Real quick, we're recapping the weekend brought to you by the Rogue Men's Store. They have the Omaha collection by Peter Millar. All the M over S gear, golf shirts, pullovers, hoodies, quarter zips. Okay. Omaha collection by Peter Millar. It's really good looking stuff at the Rogue Men's Store. So if you want to pick up your piece, whichever one you like this week, or grab one and give it to someone, go to the Rogue Men's Store today, tomorrow, Wednesday, before you go to Starkville. The Omaha collection by Peter Millar is powered by the Rogue Men's Store, I-55 North Jackson, iconic building right there by Highland Village. And don't forget that Spring Street Cigars, which is a beautiful cigar bar and lounge, is located in the building where the Rogue Men's Store is in Jackson. We're 105.9 The Zone, ESPN. All of our content goes to Spotify. Search Out of Bounds with Bo Bounds. We're on Spotify. Search Out of Bounds with Bo Bounds. Right now, we're live on YouTube. The YouTube channel is Out of Bounds Sports. Would love for you to hit the subscribe button. This is Brian O'Connor after sweeping the Ole Miss Rebels.
Oak, a lot like yesterday. Duke, probably not his best stuff, but just like Tomas, just kept getting out of it and got you a really good quality start. Ben did the same thing behind him. What did you think of your pitching, especially?
I thought Duke Stone, after the first inning, really settled down. In the first inning, it looked like he was so pumped up and trying to do too much, candidly, but 7 walks is very uncharacteristic of him, but he showed great poise. He had runners on a lot and made big pitches. Just really proud of him. To get to the 6th inning on a Sunday was huge for us. And, once it turned to the 2nd and 3rd inning, he looked like he was throwing his pitches with a lot more conviction than he was early. And just proud of him. Growth moment, obviously, on the road for him. Against your rival, and got us off to a terrific start.
What did you just think of the pitching overall this weekend in the first series without McPherson?
Yeah, I thought the pitching was outstanding, right? Certainly you can nitpick and say that, we walked too many guys or whatever, but what they did all weekend is they made big clutch pitches when they needed to with runners on. And I said that yesterday. That's the sign of a really good pitching staff that doesn't run away from difficult times. They run to it, and that was big. Obviously, a lot was made of being without McPherson. I don't know how long he's going to be out. We're going to find out more this week. But guys stepped up, from Charlie Foster to Tico yesterday, Duke Stone, guys out of the bullpen. How about Pitzer on Friday night? It's great to see Dane Burns go out there and finish it off in the 9th. And Ben Davis, listen, the kid's got terrific stuff. He wasn't his best on Friday night. For whatever reason, the fastball just wasn't there like it normally is, but it was there today, and he was lights out today.
I know you don't like having bases loaded, but you left them loaded 4 times today.
Wow.
It seems like your pitching staff can get into trouble, but they can pitch out of trouble. Is that a mentality thing?
Yeah, it is. It's all mentality. All American pitchers, if you average their walks, hit by pitches, and hits, they're going to equal their innings pitched. And, so you're going to be pitching with runners on all the time, but that's what separates yourself. What's in your gut is determined by how you manage difficult situations. And, our pitching staff has done a really terrific job of that most all of this year. And that's part of the reason we are where we are right now.
Facing a really good pitcher, too, today in Towns. I know he hadn't pitched much, but he got in the groove. But your guys just found the big hits against him. And what do you think of the offensive approach today?
Well, that's what it was. Listen, Townsend is one of the better guys that we faced all year. He's really, really good. That breaking ball to lefties, the slider and the cutter. Really, I thought the kid pitched really good. Just a couple of great swings by us. Obviously, Teal in the first, the double, and then Ace Reese hitting the ball out. And a few other guys, but we had a ton of strikeouts, but we had the big hits. And sometimes in this league, that's what it takes. It takes a 2 or 3 run home run to win a ball game, and we did our fair share of that this weekend.
Jacob Parker is a very talented freshman. Had a great weekend. This week had a great week. Could be SEC Freshman of the Week again. In your career, where does he rank for you among the top freshmen?
Well, I mean, we're only 25, 26 games into the season, but it doesn't surprise me what the young man's doing, because I've seen how he's been trending throughout the season and the adjustments that he's made. And you all have heard me talk about the presence he has. He's incredibly even keel. The moment's not too big for him, and he's going to be pretty special in this uniform. I've been fortunate in my career to have a lot of really great freshmen that have impacted games. Kyle Teal had a special freshman year. Henry Ford, who's over at Tennessee, I think hit 22 or 23 home runs his freshman year. And there's been others, but this young man is really, really talented. If he stays where he's at and stays with that same approach, difference maker for us, candidly.
When you reflect on the week, you have 4 top 20 games against in-state schools, and you win all of them. Mm-hmm. Really big week for you. What do you kind of take away from the week as a whole as you get through another week? It's a very long season, but what do you kind of take away from it?
What I take away from it is that we're consistent. Like, you see what you're going to get out of us, and that's shown in most every game. And these young men come ready to play every day. And that said, we can't get too far out ahead of ourselves. I mean, we've played 3 SEC series, and we played pretty darn well. And, the meat of our schedule's moving forward, and we just got to take it for what it is, be proud of it, and feel good about ourselves, but also know that there's a next opportunity on Tuesday, and we got a lot of baseball left and still a lot to prove.
All right. The audio this morning is brought to you by Farm Bureau Insurance. Bundle your auto and home and save with your local Farm Bureau Insurance agent. Couple of things from Brian O'Connor postgame as Mississippi State swept Ole Miss in Oxford. It was absolute and total domination throughout the weekend, other than Friday's game was nuts and crazy and close. O'Connor, you're going to pitch with runners on base in this league. How do you respond? Okay, bases loaded 4 times yesterday. Duke Stone, 7 walks. And yet you, in a way, you dominated the score of the game, even though Ole Miss was leaving runners on base all day. And had a couple of their big dudes that can swing it and either hit in the gap or hit it over, and all of a sudden everybody gets uncomfortable and it's a close game. It didn't happen. Duke did well, but so did Ben Davis, and Ben pitched well after a rough Friday. Parker and O'Connor were like, you're going back out there to get it done, and he did, which again I think is a reflection on O'Connor and Parker and the staff. Also, Todd Walker yesterday on the broadcast, I know y'all were listening, for those of you who were not there, they talked about Jacob Parker, this freshman from Purvis, about his brother, who was first-round pick, and how when they were there in the fall, O'Connor and them said he wasn't ready. Now, totally different player stylistically, but who else wasn't ready in his first fall? Jake Mangum. And then what'd he do? He got ready over the wintertime. And evidently, Jacob Parker did the same thing. And he's just getting better and better. I thought that really resonated with me. That the staff was like, hey, he's got skills, he's talented, he's not ready. We're not really sure he's going to be a factor. Now they can't. O'Connor basically, that's the second time he said in a roundabout way in the last 10 days, we can't keep him out of the lineup. Yeah. And he hit 2 bombs, but he's a problem. And they have other problems. Y'all know that. Ace and Bryce and Teal and all that. And that's great. Stallman. I mean, the list goes on and on. He's a problem as a true freshman. And even Wendy, this is fun. Wendy was watching and she went, he looks like he's 20. She didn't know who he was. We had not had a conversation about him. She went, he looks like he's 23. Right. Not his baby face, but his physique.
It's huge.
I mean, he looks like he could go play football and give it a good run as either an outside linebacker or an edge rusher. That's Jacob Parker.
Yeah.
And his swing is almost effortless. We've had players go through Starkville and Oxford where you're like, whoa, but it's just got absolute lightning in the bat. He does. And I don't think he scratched the surface. But that's pretty impressive to go from October where, hey, we think he's going to watch a lot this year to I can't keep him out of the lineup. And that's a credit to the young man.
Oh,
he didn't go home and sulk. He didn't go home for the holidays in Purvis and kick rocks.
Nope.
His brother's a first-round pick. Everybody's talking about him.
That's right.
They were both co-players of the year, all of that. He could have gone home, gotten mad, done, just, hey, I'm going to eat a lot over the holidays. I'm going to go hang out with my friends from high school.
Right.
No, I think I'm just going to stay in the box.
Turn up.
I'm going to stay in the cage, and I'm going to get my mind right. And when practice starts on January 10th, I'm going to be ready. And I'm going to slowly chip away to where O'Connor can't keep me out of the lineup. We are the Out of Bounds Show. We're driven by your next GMC Sierra truck. Fowler GMC. Right there, Pearl Brandon. FOWLER. FowlerGMC.com. FowlerGMC.com. Bowbound Straight Funk with you on a Monday. Brought to you by Eye Care Professionals. See the difference. We're taking a look at the weekend. See the difference at Eye Care Professionals. Cataract surgery, routine eye exams. I got one last week with Eye Care Professionals. And then LASIK. 2 locations on Lakeland Drive. One in Jackson, where Jackson runs the Northeast Jackson baseball fields as the commissioner of the Kickball League. They're not even a half a mile down from there. And then Flowwood Bellmead. Eye Care Professionals. We're live in the Bank Plus studio. We are the Out of Bounds Show, ESPN 105.9 The Zone. And now I've got Ole Miss fans on my Dancing Rabbit Golf text line saying, how many times have I heard this over my 22, 23 years on radio? Where does this leave Bianco?
Oh, gosh. Again?
Guys,
Same place.
I don't ever count this guy out. And with the environment and the temperature in the room as far as money and players, I'm still not sure that there's going to be a moving off. We'll see. I mean, it's not ideal where you are at all either, because he has built a good program. Mississippi State dominates and embarrasses Ole Miss. Steve Robertson at 8:15.
WRKS Pickens Jackson.
All systems go.
Live from the Whiskey 61 Lounge inside the Bank Plus studio.
This is Out of Order.
Live in the studio. It's the Out of Bounds Show with Bo Bounds. Streaming live worldwide on the Out of Bounds radio app. And on your radio at ESPN 105.9. All set? Let's go. The Zone.
Never say never, but never.
Good morning, Out of Bounds, 1059 The Zone, ESPN. 1059 The Zone, ESPN.
It looks so fresh.
We're streaming live on the Out of Bounds radio app and thezone1059.com. I hope you loaded up with English peas and mayonnaise.
Oh, look at that.
Live in the Bank Plus studio. I'm your host, Bo Bounds. All of our content will be on Spotify. Search Out of Bounds with Bo Bounds. We'll have Steve Robertson on at 8:15. And then Jay Powell MSU baseball color analyst, first round pick out of MSU. World Series champ. Jay Powell will join us live in studio at 9:30. You can watch the show on YouTube. The channel is Out of Bounds Sports. And let's do another Out of Bounds roll call on a Monday. Y'all were coming out of the gate hot right at like 7:01 or 7:02 an hour ago. So we'll do the Golden Moon Casino text line, 601-885-3776. 601-885-3776. How are you listening to the show, 1059 The Zone, or streaming? Where are you listening from? And who was your MVP of the weekend? Was it UConn or Jacob Parker or someone else? Or, I mean, maybe it was Charlie Foster. Yeah. Can be any number of people.
Oak.
Or Brian O'Connor. Yeah. Oak. That guy and Kurt Signetti remind me of each other. They really do. They don't even have time to think about time. They're just, everything is, in 30 seconds, right? I mean, they're just no time. Can you imagine Brian O'Connor in like 3 hours this morning, about 11:15, like stopping to just have a conversation about whatever for 15 minutes? No way in hell. No. Mississippi State's won 8 in a row. The standings go like this. MSU 7-2 in conference play. Texas 7-2 in conference play. And Georgia 7-2 in conference play. MSU and Georgia play in Starkville Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Duty Noble. It'll be insane. Insane. And then you got, Florida at 6-3 and Bama at 6-3 and then blah, blah, blah. Down at the bottom, LSU is 4-5, 19-10 overall. It surprises some of you. I get it. Now they're far from out of it with all the games left. Ole Miss is 3-6 in conference play, 19-10 overall. They've lost 4 in a row. They lost to Memphis on Tuesday and Mississippi State Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. You could tell Bianco was, as you can imagine, he's a super competitive, highly successful person. You could tell he was beyond ticked in his postgame. It was short, but he's madder than hell, and he said we should be embarrassed. And he understands the impact and ramifications. I don't know how this looks going forward. He just hosted a regional last year. I've heard enough of Mike Bianco's not going to make it for me to eye roll. He's been on the hot seat since I've been on the air 45 times, and yet he's lived in the postseason. So we'll just see how that all plays out. But yeah, wow. 7 sweeps in SEC this weekend. Not sure that has happened before, Bo. That's Moose Dog. on the Golden Moon Casino text line. Rotor Wash says, as a Mississippi State fan, I love the sweep. The topping, though, was Vandy sweeping Tennessee. My daughter broke the remote, so I couldn't turn the volume up to listen to the Whistler. State sweeps. Yeah, okay. Beautiful weekend. All right. What else do we have? Three Hump Camel says Tiger Woods was the MVP of the weekend.
Oh, easy.
That wasn't good. Yeah, Tiger got a DUI. I didn't realize he's dating Eric Trump's ex-wife.
Yes.
And according to a report, and I don't ever know what's AI generated or not now,
cool.
but according to a report, the Secret Service had told her to tell Tiger that he could never drive her kids around, which is Eric's kids too.
Oh, well.
You know, I'll hit this real quick because it's not. You're a billionaire.
Yeah.
Hire a driver, or it's real simple on your phone. You can punch Uber Black.
It's not hard.
And you can go wherever. If you need to go to Whole Foods, you can go. If you need to go wherever, you know, if you need to go to the hardware store. I don't know if Tiger ever needs to go there, but let's say you do. You can go Uber Black or a driver. All right.
Walk outside.
What now?
Anybody will pick Tiger up and give him a ride.
Oh, I mean, like all of
anybody.
your neighbors, even though they're wealthy, nobody knows who they are,
Doesn't
nor
matter.
will they ever. So they want to hang out with you.
Yes.
So you just knock on their door.
Hey, man.
And, hey, I need to go to Fresh Market.
We'll help.
And they're like, done.
Yeah. How many times you want to go?
Right.
I mean.
Right. All right.
There's another MVP of the weekend.
UConn? Tell me what, because I've got that audio from, I had something. There it is. Go ahead. Will Wade, tell me.
How about this? Luke Abney.
What did Luke do?
He's number 3 on the big board on the brackets.
Is he really? We'll never hear the end of it.
He's got a shot, too.
I love that guy, but we'll never hear the end of
If
it.
Michigan wins, it's over.
He's got Michigan?
He's got Michigan.
Hold on.
Yeah,
Are you positive? Is Luke Abney
Okay.
with the Omaha collection by Peter Millar at the Rogue Men's Store, M over S gear for days? Are you messing with me?
I'm like 99% because it's Luke A.
I thought he would tell me.
Well, he may want to make sure he has a shot at winning it before he tells you, you know.
All right, let me look at this.
I'd have to look.
So you've got Illinois and UConn at 5:00 on Saturday.
Right.
And you have Michigan and Arizona at 7:50 on Saturday in the Final Four.
Man, those are good brands, man.
Indianapolis, Lucas Oil Stadium.
Great brands.
Oh.
Basketball brands?
No question.
Huge. Illinois, big time. They've always been like that.
They've been good.
Arizona,
UConn's been great.
obviously.
Michigan's been good at times. Arizona's been good all the way back to Lute Olson taking over in the 80s. I fell in love with one of their teams in the late 80s and then liked them for a while. They had several NBA guys go through. And then, of course, Lute won it in 97, in between Kentucky winning it in 96 and 98. Patino won it in 96, and Tubby won it in 98. Bam. Yeah, Arizona's good. And what's North Carolina going to do with their job? That's the biggest job in college basketball. The biggest job in college basketball.
Period.
Now, what about those of you? Some of you like Duke because they've been good forever. Now, I've told this story. I'll tell it. Well, we got to go to break. All right, we'll go to Steve Robertson, then I'll tell it in 20 minutes. But the UConn Huskies men's team didn't just beat the Duke Blue Devils men's basketball team. They took their soul in real time. Grant Hill, who was calling the game, couldn't even say anything. Steve Robertson, genespage.com, 247 Sports. Coming up next on the Out of Bounds show, brought to you by Mississippi's College Town. Visit all the fun restaurants, Two Brothers, Older Brother, Taste Italian Kitchen. Enjoy yourself this weekend against Georgia.
Oh, look at that.
Good morning, Out of Bounds, brought to you by Mississippi's College Town. Direct flights from Atlanta and Dallas-Fort Worth every day, 15 minutes from Mississippi State University in Starkville. Book your trip. Come in, see Brian O'Connor's Mississippi State Bulldogs. Direct flights. What is that, a 50-minute flight max from Atlanta, Georgia? Boom. You can be at Two Brothers or Taste in 15 minutes from Willsdown or in a meeting, which is good too. Dallas, Fort Worth, Atlanta, direct flights into Golden Triangle Airport every day, 15 minutes from campus. We welcome in Steve Robertson on 105.9 The Zone, ESPN, the Out of Bounds Show. His site, genespage.com, 247 Sports. Steve, I know you knew this, but I'd like for you to walk our listeners through it because that's where you're from, that area. I know you heard it yesterday. Todd Walker was talking about Jacob Parker and how they met with the staff in the fall, and O'Connor and them thought that Jacob Parker just wasn't quite ready. And yet, you know, I guess over 3 or 4 months over the winter, he continued to work and progress and so on. And as O'Connor has now said twice in 2 weeks, you can't keep him out of the lineup. Talk about his game and what he's done since fall ball, Steve.
Well, the first thing I thought you were going to say is that Purvis is not close to the Alabama state line.
I did hear that. Every now and then all of us, miss, especially me.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I don't know. But so here's the thing. I had this discussion with somebody last night, and I think this says so much about Brian O'Connor. He didn't know Jacob Parker, right? I mean, let's be honest about that. I mean, Jacob Parker signed with Chris Lamonis. I was there, Purvis High School, Tornadoes, right? Took the picture, went and got some awards after that, and had a great day. But that's not a guy that Brian O'Connor recruited. And Brian O'Connor brought in Vitus Valenkas, a guy that he's knows the family well, probably was part of a package deal with Tomas just to keep the boys together and give them an opportunity. And then James Nunnally. James Nunnally was brought in expected to be the starting right fielder, and that's a guy that obviously Brian O'Connor had recruited for 2 years and then played with for a year. But your starting right fielder is Jacob Parker. And what that tells me is that Brian O'Connor is doing what's best for Mississippi State baseball. And he said from the beginning, nobody's promised anything. You got to go out there and earn it. Jacob Parker is earning it, and his coach is rewarding him with additional playing time.
He's one of those guys, Steve. You've been covering this program for a long time. He's one of those guys that has electricity in his bat. And it's almost like it's just a smooth stroke, and then all of a sudden he hits it 380, 390, 400. Talk about how he hasn't even scratched the surface, but his production, like you just said, is great for Mississippi State baseball.
Well, when he hits a home run, it's not a wall scraper.
No,
there's none of that. It's a souvenir with a bruise pretty quickly. But not even just that, but like even the balls that he lines back up the middle, everything he hits with authority. And so you got to play defense against that about 100 to 110 miles an hour, no matter where it is. It could be a one-hopper to short. It could be, a ball that's heading out the right center. But, this guy is a professional grade hitter. And, that's the thing. Like, when he first hit the scene, everybody thought there's no chance this guy's going to make it to school. They thought JoJo would make it to school because JoJo was a little bit smaller. But, of course, JoJo plays the premium position of shortstop. And then he had a great junior and senior season. And Jacob just decided, you know what, I think I want to go to school and improve my draft stock. I had 2 Major League Baseball scouts tell me yesterday, if Jacob Parker continues to work hard and doesn't get hurt, he's going to be a top 10 pick in 2 years.
Damn. Steve Robertson on the Farm Bureau Insurance guest line. Brought to you by Mississippi's College Town. That place will be packed this weekend. It's a Thursday, Friday, Saturday series against Georgia. Steve joins us on ESPN 105.9 The Zone. How impressed were you with Charlie Foster, especially after that first inning, right? I mean, it's a big deal. You're going against Hunter Elliott, who was really good too, Steve, as you know. How impressed were you with Foster on Friday?
Incredible. And here's the thing. I mean, like, to win a game against Elliott is a big deal, right? I mean, that's a veteran guy. Listen, I know he wasn't tagged with the loss, but he left, with the deficit. But that's a lot to ask, man. I mean, if you got a young guy that's been up and down a little bit, and you got to go match Hunter Elliott, a guy that talented, you got to match him pitch for pitch, and for the most part, he did. And that's the thing. I think everybody this time last week was dreading the week. Hey, we got 2 top 20 teams. We're going to play 4 games against top 20 teams that are in-state rivals. Man, can we go 2-2? Can we go 3-1? And you look up on Monday and you're 4-0. And one of the big reasons why is because Charlie Foster went out there and had his best performance. And listen, I want to give absolute credit to the guys. I mean, the Bulldog starters were absolutely outstanding. Gave up a combined 3 runs over the weekend, which is incredible. And that's an offense. And one of the things I wanted to say too, as I thought about it coming on the show, this is a good Ole Miss team. I know right now a lot of Ole Miss people are like, it's terrible. Look at who they played. Number 2, Texas, and number 4, Mississippi State. That's 2 of your 3. And then Kentucky, obviously, is no slouch in consensus top 25 team the last few weeks. This Ole Miss team can hit the baseball. This Ole Miss team has 2 frontline starters. And if Townsend is back to what he was yesterday, I mean, he had left a couple balls up. They're going to win a lot of games. They're going to be an NCAA tournament team. I don't think they're going to host, but they've had a difficult jump. I mean, their schedule didn't do them any favors. And so now, if you're a Mississippi State fan, you want Ole Miss to get hot too because it helps you in the RPI. It's like Vandy sweeping Tennessee on 3 consecutive walk-offs, which is ridiculous. But I think this Ole Miss team has some interesting pieces. But I think to go into Oxford with Charlie Foster as your Friday night guy and to come out the other side of this thing with a 3-game sweep where you limited them to, 6 runs, that's ridiculous.
Steve Robertson, genespage.com on the Out of Bounds show. This is a quick hit, and we'll get him back later in the week. You've got an early series, everybody, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Steve, not just yesterday. Well, yesterday was 4 times. I mean, the bases were loaded throughout the day, but it happened throughout the weekend. The bases would get juiced with Ole Miss players, and MSU and their pitchers would get them out of it. What does that say about O'Connor and Parker and the staff?
Well, at the end of the day, you can prepare a young man, but he's got to go out there and execute pitches, right? I mean, it doesn't matter how much study review you do and how much bullpens you throw and how many mechanics you refine. At some point, a guy has to kind of go out there and kind of knuckle up and make a pitch. And, you read it all weekend. You heard it all weekend. Ole Miss just couldn't cash into those opportunities. Well, Mississippi State had something to say about that, too. It wasn't just Ole Miss as an aptitude. I mean, State went out and executed. And baseball is a game of execution. The team that executes the best is going to win. And this weekend, it was Mississippi State.
What else? I got a minute or so. Steve Robertson on the Out of Bounds show, genespage.com. His board's on fire right now, as it was yesterday. Give me another takeaway from the weekend in the series.
Well, I think Mississippi State has so much power up and down the order that you just never get an inning off. And I think that grates on a pitcher, because you have to stay locked in every single pitch, every single at bat. And you saw it against Townsend yesterday. Andrew Raymond, and this is what's so crazy too.
Andrew Raymond.
State's got 3 catchers, right? 3 catchers, and Raymond homers, Maluski homers twice, and then Sean James with the big hit on Friday night. Mm-hmm. What a great job by that group.
That's a great point right there. All 3 of those guys with big hits. Steve Robertson, genespage.com. We'll do another hit on Thursday. Thanks, Steve.
See you.
ESPN 105.9 The Zone. Great point on all 3 catchers with big hits. Wow. All right, we're live in the Bank Plus studio. The Out of Bounds show is powered by Superior Foundation for all your foundation repairs. Superior.ms.
Well, I'm not going to lie, I'm drunk.
Good grief. Good morning. Welcome in. Out of Bounds, 105.9 The Zone, ESPN. We're powered by RPT and Rick's Pro Truck. I think we're doing a remote there soon, or one of the three locations. RPT Commercial, RPT Flowwood, and, of course, RPT in Gluckstadt, Madison County. Rick's Pro Truck. Trucks live here. ricksprotruck.com. I'm your host, Bo Bounds, 105.9 The Zone, ESPN. You can listen to Mississippi State baseball on 105.9 The Zone, ESPN. I love the feedback. Thank you. I love it when y'all, well, anytime you text us. Yeah. But when you talk about listening, a lot of you are like, you got other things to do. You can't make it up to Starkville all the time, or you're in that busy, that 10 to 12 year spot where you got kids running around everywhere playing all kinds of stuff. Like I've been there a few years ago. And so when you're going from soccer to baseball or baseball to dance or whatever, you know, softball to this, you want to listen. And that's why it's great to have Neil and Jay Powell on 105.9 The Zone, ESPN, bringing you MSU baseball. And we're glad to have it there. Mm-hmm. And I drove to the Mississippi Delta on Saturday after the game started, actually. Wilkes came in for a night, and then so he comes in on Friday and hang out, but then we went to lunch on Saturday, Wendy and Wilkes and I, and then right after that I drove to see some friends who have an absolutely, I wouldn't even call it a camp. It's like I don't even know, a resort.
Resort, yeah, there you go.
So I drove over, cut through Bovina, went up Highway 61, about 30, 40 miles north of Vicksburg, and they cooked some, or their guy cooked some unbelievable crawfish and corn and potatoes and stuff. And I mean, if you're going to eat, I mean, we know how good Mudbugs is, but if you're going to eat crawfish that close to the Louisiana border and the river, it's got to be awesome, right?
Got to be.
And it was. And so on the way over, it's about an hour and 10-minute drive, which I needed. I mean, I get a lot of windshield time because we take our trips to Pearl River and Starkville and the coast and now over to the Delta. But listen to Neil and Jay Powell call the game. Really, really well done. And I like that. I do. I like that. And I like having it here. I like making the station stronger. And that's what we did. And that's what it takes to get it sticky.
Yeah.
And you want to be sticky during the weekdays, but during the weekends too. So, boom. Excited about that. The show is powered by Farm Bureau Insurance. Bundle your auto and home and save with your local Farm Bureau insurance agent. Okay? Bundle your auto and home. Competitive rates are powered by Farm Bureau Insurance. By the way, we'll be a part of their big party and golf tournament in May at Pearl River Resort again and Dancing Rabbit Golf Club. So I'm looking forward. They cooked some of the best food I've had last year. They had a food competition, a Golden Moon out there in the kind of area that they have to the, is that to the north? And it was incredible. The pit masters that showed up, that was a ton of fun. Where there was a text and I've already lost it because there's too many down. That's okay. All right. I want to switch gears real quick. Like we just talked an hour and a half of Mississippi State Ole Miss. And we got Jay Powell in an hour live in studio. The YouTube channel is Out of Bounds Sports. Out of Bounds Sports. We're live right now, but Jay will be in studio and he's going to be able to walk you through much better because he was called every pitch of every game this weekend, and he did a good job. And Mississippi State's lucky to have him, and he likes it. You know, you can tell that he and Neil like working together. Yeah. One, that's the first thing. And then working back from there, they both know what they're doing. Let me switch gears real quick because I did get a couple of texts on UConn ripping Duke's heart out. And those are two monster brands. North Carolina is the biggest brand, and then you got, together you got Duke and Kentucky, and then you got Kansas, and then you got UConn. Right. And Danny Hurley's a maniac, and I love him. He's a machine. He does not care. He's not going to apologize. for the way he coaches, for his tirades, for getting thrown out of games, for F-bombing everybody that gets in his way. You know how we talked about Dan Mullen would F-bomb you just getting out of his car, walking, and you need more of that. But in the SEAL facility, I mean, Dan got up every morning and got in the shower and got out and thought, who can I F-bomb first?
Yeah.
In my house or on the way or whatever. That's Danny Hurley, Bobby Hurley's brother, who's now going to become more accomplished than Bobby Hurley, which is incredible.
Yeah.
Okay. But here's the deal. Duke is the trust fund kid. 5-star recruits, NBA pipeline, clean haircuts, perfect resumes.
Yeah.
But in March, here's the interesting thing about March and March Madness. That doesn't matter when the game turns into a street fight. And that's what Danny Hurley wants. Now, UConn has really good players, but Danny Hurley wants a street fight at some point in the game. And he's betting on his guys. And that was a wild last play. I mean, Duke's got the ball. It's over.
It's over.
The guy jumps up half court to pass it. Deflected. UConn steals the ball. The first guy could have took the shot. He wasn't going to make it, I don't think. Instead, what'd he do? How many times have you heard good coaches talk about it? Make the extra pass.
Yeah.
And the kid dials in from 20, 30 feet out
Deep.
and absolutely drills it. He knew it, by the way, when he released it.
Oh, yeah.
That's when you know in light, you know whatever's going on.
Mm-hmm.
He knew.
Yeah.
You know, Danny Hurley's that guy that flips over the table when things are going. Like, he doesn't even mess around. You know how some people, there'll be some jawing. Hurley just flips the table over in the bar. That's what he does.
He flips the table over whether it needs to be flipped or not.
That's right.
Even if they're doing well, he's flipping it over.
I mean, if Danny's not arguing with somebody at a family holiday meal, he's arguing with himself.
Yeah.
I mean, Danny's yelling at the spoon and the dressing while putting the dressing on his plate.
Right.
He's wanting to fight the dressing.
And it's the dressing's fault. It's not his fault.
Yeah.
He's a madman.
You know, Duke was playing not to lose.
Yeah, they were.
And UConn was playing like they knew they were winning.
That's right. Timid. Man, why didn't they foul him?
Well, because of the score, and he was beyond the three-point line.
Oh, well, yeah.
Yeah.
Stick him on the line for a
Now,
bonus.
if you're up by 3, maybe we're talking about a different thing. But no. Well, look, it's easy for me to say. You got the ball.
Yeah, right.
You didn't even have to make that extra pass. But I get it's bang bang. But you know, if he just kind of, I mean, now it was congested there at half court. But if you just hold on to the ball or something, you know, it's over. And that's tough. I mean, you know, it's easy for me or you to say while we're watching on TV, but that pass did not need to be made.
No.
Danny Hurley is Tom Brady. And they're always ticked off.
Yeah.
Brady walked in the Patriots facility even after ring 3, 4, even after he was a star and had married a supermodel and everybody knew that he was in the Hall of Fame. He walked in the Patriots facility after ring 3 and 4, mad as hell. He would get in his car and think, okay, I'm terrible.
Right.
And then whoever I see at the facility that just breathes or looks at me the wrong way, it's on.
Yeah.
That's Danny Hurley. That's Danny Hurley, UConn head coach. All right, I'll switch gears. Out of bounds, ESPN 105.9 The Zone. I want the LSU offensive line, Jordan Seaton. This is all right. So Jordan Seaton was the prize offensive lineman in the portal, or one of 3. But he was the last one. And anytime you're the last one, it's on, right? And LSU and Lane ended up getting him. Mississippi State was in the game for a minute. Oregon was in. I think maybe
Yeah,
Miami. And
that's it.
anyway, but he had been at Colorado with Coach Prime. And y'all remember Lane got him to Baton Rouge, and they didn't get the deal done. So Lane, this is when you know you're ginning and operating at an optimal level, peak. Lane says, well, even though we're LSU, now I'm wearing the LSU. It's one of 5 pullovers that just you can get in any. Doesn't mean you're going to get everybody. You can get in any door,
Right.
any door.
Right.
Transfer, high school recruit, anybody. Lane says, no, I'm not just going to rest on my laurels. I'm not just going to say we hosted him, we made a $4+ million offer, and we're LSU and that. No, I'm going to get in a and I know it's a LSU jet, but I'm going to get on a plane and fly to Atlanta and make another pitch. Which, when you're in, Steve Jobs did this all the time, and he didn't think he was above it. You know where he is in the business Hall of Fame lore, whatever. He goes over there and gets another one-on-one to close because he knows, hey, Dan Lanning is an assassin. Dan Lanning at Oregon is a closer. Dan Lanning and Phil Knight will do whatever it takes too. And I need another, even though they felt good, I need another tackle.
Yeah.
This is Jordan Seaton after a couple of months in Baton Rouge and a few practices talking about the difference between LSU and Lane and Prime in Colorado.
When I left Colorado, I feel like I was at a good point, but I feel like coming here, the transition from how I eat to how we work out here, is just kind of different. My decision to come here was just based off, it just means more, Coach uses that quote, it's just different here, and I really believe that. Being here is really just different from how we train to how we work, and the word extra around here. Everybody, we're big on extra, because just doing what's required is not enough. When it comes to work, that's what this place is about. Like, you don't come here to do nothing else but work.
All right, that was Jordan Seaton, offensive lineman at LSU, big time prize recruit. He got
big time
millions, and then more millions to go wherever he was going to go, but he ended up at LSU. How about that? Well, that's not a good look for Prime in Colorado.
Nah. What do you expect?
Are you surprised that they're not buttoned up? And as Lane likes to mess with everybody and take shots on social media and take shots at Feinbaum and give other coaches hell.
Oh, yeah.
Right? I mean, he made fun of Brian Kelly, then he replaced him.
It's awesome.
And I mean, there are other. I mean, called Kirby fat.
Yeah, he did.
Took shots at Mississippi. He owned Mississippi State while he was in. I mean, you name it. But here's where, even though the bad boy frat look, act like a punk, man, Lane running the program in the building has Saban-like accountability. I'm not saying he did early in his career, but since going to Saban, Florida Atlantic, Ole Miss, and now LSU, y'all can think, oh, this is how that's not. He is dead damn serious. There's no BS in the building.
Oh.
You're there to work. You're going to be held accountable. He's talked about D-NIL and D-portal and D-recruiting them. We've been talking about that for years, but he framed it up in a little bit different way in the new era. And there's no he knows that there's no margin for where he wants to go with LSU and what he is now tasked to do with the $90-something million contract.
Right.
And that is to go, yes, to the college football playoff, but to get to the national championship game at some point. Right? I mean, the expectations for Brian O'Connor are crazy.
Yes.
The expectations for Lane Kiffin are crazy. And now everybody believes that you can do what Kurt Signetti did, which you can't. But I wouldn't be surprised if Lane is, in the college football playoff in year one.
I agree.
But that was Jordan Seaton, big time offensive tackle that left Colorado and ended up signing with LSU. Lane signed the number one of damn near everything.
Yeah.
Both portal and high school. If you combine the classes, he's number one. So, not good for now. Again, Ole Miss plays him game 3. Mississippi State kind of midseason at LSU, disaster. But now I expect the one in Oxford. I mean, Pete Golding and Ole Miss will be so hyped and playing out of their mind, that LSU will have to withstand that first, 5 minutes or so. Vaught Hemingway, the hatred and animosity and ticked offness will be at an all-time. All of our teams have been there. Will be at an all-time level. Like if you thought Mullen coming back to Florida in year 1, and it was contentious, and Mississippi State fans were mad as hell because they, Moorhead blanked the bed, and Dan waited until they, because he knew the personnel, and he waited until they subbed a walk-on in the secondary, and then what they do, they figured it out and finally, found a window against the number 1 or number 2 defense in the country, because Moorhead damn sure wasn't going to score on Mullen and Todd Grantham, and that's the deal. So, but as big as that was, this will be bigger. One, because of the proximity, Ole Miss, LSU, and even Mississippi State. Both of our teams have been playing LSU forever.
Right.
We haven't been playing Florida every year. In fact, there's been times where you don't play them for like every 8 years. Right? And so September 19th will be like the day.
Man.
But that was Jordan Seaton, and Lane is a crazy man, but he's locked in. They're talking about the number 1 class down there, and that's all they're talking. That Lane, now that he's been there a minute, they want to sign the number, obviously, but they want to sign the number 1 class in the country.
Is there a game in the past that you think could rival the hype of that? Like and I'm talking not during season, like off season, looking forward, looking ahead. Everyone's got that one circled. Is there a game that we?
No, that's the. I mean, there'll be others nationally. Ohio State and Texas at Texas. Come on,
but still, that
good Lord, those 2 brands.
Yeah, it's huge.
Arch hosting now a year under his belt. Sure. And then Ohio State. That I can't believe he's got a year under his belt.
Yeah,
that's a big game. Week 1?
Yeah,
Ohio State at Texas. There's not 2 bigger brands.
Julian Sayin.
Yeah, Julian Sayin.
Yeah.
And when I look at the big board, I listened to a podcast on the way to the Mississippi Delta this weekend. I listened to McShay just to kind of start to really get ready for what's going to play out here with the NFL draft.
Right.
Ohio State kind of underachieved.
Kind of.
Now, I know they won the national championship the year before, which is incredible.
Yeah, sure.
But man, they had some talent.
Yeah.
Man, you look at the first round, projected first round. Holy smokes. I know they have players every year, but dang.
They're freaking loaded.
Yeah.
All you got to do is lob it up out there. Smith to the house.
That's what they did to you.
Yeah, well, that's what I would have done with
Mount Salus.
Yeah.
4 verticals.
Lob it.
Throw it to straight funk.
Watch what happens.
Okay.
Plus off a nasty spin move in there.
Did you throw a little basketball pivot on the football field like Tyreek?
Got to be the slowest.
He likes to
move.
plant. Boom.
He does.
Yeah.
He full plants.
I don't know if he's still capable of doing it now, but man, for about a 10-year window, goodness gracious.
Oh.
Filthy.
But
now the dudes are, now you look at what Chase and Jordan Jefferson can do as far as pivoting and stopping and starting. Ridiculous.
I tear my ACL watching them.
Oh, no. Shred my ankle just trying to go get an ice cold Michelob Ultra. By the way, Wendy made clean nachos yesterday.
Boys.
Dude, we haven't made them in a long time. It was epic.
Smashed.
Big time.
Nice.
Yeah. It was fabulous. We're proud of Jackson. We're going to give Jackson the MVP.
Nice.
Even though he really didn't do it, like a million people worked their tail off on the St. Pat. And by the way, kudos to everybody in Jackson and the leadership and
job.
the bars and the restaurants and Capital PD and everybody.
Yep.
Because we want awesome events to showcase our wonderful city.
Great
And
job.
now you've really kind of stuck out your chest the last couple of weeks. Jackson Food and Wine Festival was sold out in 3 minutes. And then you come back with the St. Patrick's Day Parade. It's awesome. But I guess we're going to give the MVP to Jackson Meadows over Charlie Foster and Jacob Parker.
Charlie who?
Because Meadows actually got up and went downtown to Martin's and hung out for the post-parade party.
It's facts.
And watched the Mississippi State Ole Miss baseball game, Game 2, on Saturday.
I did.
Yeah.
That's I'm done for the year.
Tomas, Jacob Parker, Aiden Till, Bryce Chance. Good Lord.
All right.
And Steve Robertson made a great point on the three catchers, all coming up big at the plate.
How?
That's a wow.
It's an odd thing.
Wow. All big moments. And that Friday game, if Ole Miss wins that game, what are we talking about today? You don't know. They go back, take the lead, and then the top of the ninth, Mississippi State did what they need to do. Oh, my God.
It could have been
Y'all
Bruins.
were all on the edge of your seat, MSU and Ole Miss fans.
Have you checked on Wes?
I think Wes's heart stopped
Yeah, no doubt.
16 times between the 6th inning and the 9th inning in Friday night's game.
No question.
I don't even know if Wes, he probably threw his chair out the door.
Yeah.
Burned his couch.
No doubt.
And then I guess at that point he had a little bit of furniture left and he celebrated like up on a bar stool.
There we go.
I don't know.
I'm not sure he's up. I mean, this could be, he's riding high this weekend.
That guy's crazy.
Oh, yeah, he's nuts.
Yeah, Wes, who's trying to make the cut here on the Out of Bounds show and doing a really good job.
Hey, he is.
He's made it through like 12 or 13 cuts.
That's big time.
It's like an NFL roster.
We've had some people not making a cut.
That's right. But yeah, Wes is probably finding a way to be like
negative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
no
if
doubt.
you're Mississippi State this morning, I always talk about it. You better shower in this in this 8-game winning streak. Adversity's coming again. I don't know when.
Yeah.
It's the SEC. You need to shower and run down the street in your boxers celebrating. Because winning is difficult, especially in the SEC, regardless of sport. And Jacob Parker is an absolute dude. Good Lord.
Yeah, he's so good.
And Bryce Chance, you can't keep him hitless. The guy's just a hitting machine. The Out of Bounds show is brought to you by Mississippi's College Town. Enjoy the amazing restaurants. Oh, Louisville Wine Bar. Oh, fantastic place.
WRKS Pickens Jackson.
All systems go.
Live from the Whiskey 61 Lounge inside the Bank Plus studio.
This is Out of Order.
Live in the studio. It's the Out of Bounds Show with Low Bounds. Streaming live worldwide on the Out of Bounds radio app. And on your radio at ESPN 105.9. All set? Let's go. The Zone.
All right, Jay Powell will join us at 9:30. What's happening? Out of Bounds, ESPN 105.9 The Zone. Out of Bounds, ESPN 105.9 The Zone. Brought to you by Matt Anderson with Southeastern Land Group. Matt Anderson, Southeastern Land Group. And speaking of going to the Mississippi Delta, and golly, I had a great time. But speaking of going to the Mississippi Delta on Saturday and spending Saturday night, and that drive back on Sunday morning was beautiful. If you're looking for a hunting camp or some land, farmland, or lake house, call Matt Anderson with Southeastern Land Group. And I've known Matt for a long time. He does a great job. He's been posting some really cool stuff on Facebook. Matt Anderson, 601-408-5155. Matt Anderson, Southeastern Land Group for your next hunting camp or farm. Boy, he's put a lot of people on some good properties. If you're looking for your piece of property, Matt Anderson, Southeastern Land Group. Matt Anderson, Southeastern Land Group. We're live in the Bank Plus studio. Bo Bounds, Straight Funk. Straight Funk actually had a productive weekend for him, which is, I'm proud of him.
Yeah.
His weekend is brought to you by the delicious, fabulous, mouth-watering Po' Boys and Blue Plates at Martin's in Livingston. He was at Martin's downtown for the St. Patrick's Day Parade. And real quick recap, Mississippi State swept Ole Miss. Jay Powell live in studio on the cameras at 9:30. The YouTube channel is Out of Bounds Sports. And the Dogs sweep the Rebs. O'Connor, it was domination. You saw it. I saw it. People watched it. I can't imagine what the streaming numbers were on it. But Mississippi State didn't just beat Ole Miss. They walked into Oxford and took it over. And 8-game winning streak is not – there's a bunch of good teams in this league, including Ole Miss, but there are others who are struggling. And they have players. And Mississippi State will face adversity again, but they've already faced adversity. For example, losing to UCLA and Southern Miss back-to-back, losing McPherson, being that close, a whisker close in Arkansas to turn in that series, bad taste in their mouth. And yet they rip off 8 wins. They beat a Southern Miss team and Ole Miss. All those teams want to beat each other. It does not matter if they're throwing dice or out in the parking lot. Craps, whatever. You could have a who can eat the po' boy faster at lunch today. You want to win. They have won 8 in a row. You saw what Vandy did this past weekend, and Mississippi State swept them. All right, so
they're so good.
Yeah, they're a problem.
They are,
and yet the pitching is good,
but it ain't.
But
there's holes.
But when they have to have it, they get it. And like Ben Davis on Friday night, hey, that wasn't a good outing. I'm sure he was mad as hell.
Oh yeah,
going back to the hotel on Friday. All day Saturday, he has to sit there. And then Sunday, he gets another shot, and he does what he needs to do with the bases used. The bases were loaded 4 times.
That's crazy.
And you got out of it. And look, Duke Stone was nails, Charlie Foster, Tomas. O'Connor said it. Tomas didn't have his best stuff coming out of the gate, but he found a way. And look, here's the deal. When you look at Ole Miss and Elliott and Underwood Good Lord. I mean, they were dealing. There was
good.
a problem.
They're a good ball team.
And yet, I know they don't have a lot to show for it right now, but him coming back yesterday after being out for a couple of weeks, kind of like you're hoping McPherson, you're hoping the same deal for McPherson. If it's not this week, you're really hoping next. O'Connor, we played that bit earlier, that audio earlier. He said he didn't know yet. And you're not going to. They're testing him every day and talking to him, blah, blah, blah. Physical therapy, and who knows if he's lightly tossing or throwing, I'm not sure. But when you're Ben Davis and it doesn't go like you want on Friday, and then you come back on Sunday and pitch that way, credit to him.
Yeah, that young, having that mental, I mean, that's a lot in the mental, man.
Yeah, they're trying to get guys who haven't pitched a lot up and running. And credit Parker and O'Connor for Charlie Foster may not start it off just like you wanted, and then Duke Stone. Did I say that? I may have messed up one of those names earlier. But the bottom line is Jay Powell's going to walk us through everything because he was there. He's been there. And both, getting ahead of the count and all that stuff and getting guys out. But, man, when the bases are juiced in SEC play and you're on the road and one swing can change the game, holy smokes.
One swing could have changed any of those ball games.
Right. Fridays was wild.
Right. But, I mean, even yesterday's ball game.
Well, yeah, if you hit a grand slam and you make it 6-5, then everybody's, puckers up.
Right.
And then it's literally you're white knuckling everything
for the rest of the ball game. Yeah.
Just hanging on because you don't know which way it could go. Pass ball, you could lose. Pass, whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, when you have the bases loaded 4 freaking times, that's a lot.
And they had some dudes. Ole Miss is about, even though Mississippi State relied on homers yesterday and big swings throughout the weekend, they can chop you up with singles and doubles. Mm-hmm. Ole Miss really not that. I thought Jay made a great point on Saturday. Jay Powell, he said, hey, look, this is a team that wants to get a runner or two on, a walk, whatever, and then they want to
hit them out.
And you can tell, I mean, the way they swing, uppercut, trying to get that thing out type deal. And that's, I mean, look, Bianco came from LSU, Bertman. They were the power teams, late 80s, but especially the 90s. And that's Bianco's style, and it's worked.
Yeah.
For the most part.
I'd see.
QB1 says, yeah. Okay, so QB1 says Justin Parker is phenomenal at game planning for the best hitters. He did a good job this weekend.
He's so good. Because
when you have a Utermark up there and the bases are juiced and he's at home and in that ballpark, it'll make you nervous quite fast. QB1 goes on and says he takes the Belichick approach and makes sure their best player doesn't beat you.
Yeah.
Well, hey, the Golden Moon Casino text line is 601-885-3776. I want to let you know that we're on Spotify. Search Out of Bounds with Bo Bounds. And right now, like all of our podcasts is on Spotify. Everything, every hour, every segment, every interview, every single one is on Spotify. Search Out of Bounds with Bo Bounds. Right now, we're rolling on the cameras. YouTube. The YouTube channel is Out of Bounds Sports. And Jay will join us here in a few minutes, and we'll wrap up the show with him, and he can talk Duke Stone and Ben Davis and Charlie Foster and Tomas. We'll be back in a second. All right. Good morning. Out of bounds. 105.9 The Zone, ESPN. Jay Powell will join us at 9:30. Hope you're doing well. Mississippi State sweeps and dominates Ole Miss over the weekend. They've won 8 in a row. And this is a fan base that was ready to get excited about something. And they thought that Brian O'Connor would have a good team. And look, there's a lot of ball left to be played. You don't know how this is going to look as it all shakes out throughout the season and the postseason. But you're putting yourself in position to do some fun things. And that's what counts, right?
Yep.
I mean, you'd rather be here than 19-10 and 4-5 like LSU, right? You're 7-2 and you're 24-4 overall. And you're 7-4 in Q1 games, which is fantastic. One of your losses is UCLA on a neutral field. Another loss is at Southern Miss. And another loss is at Arkansas. So these are not like, I mean, that's incredible. You're looking good. And Georgia's also tied with you at 7-2, which is exciting. And they come in town this weekend. So Dogs versus the Dogs. Wes Johnson, y'all know who he is. He was a pitching coach for 5 minutes at Mississippi State, was at LSU, Minnesota Twins, Arkansas. And anyway, he's at Georgia now. He took Scott Strickland's place at Georgia. And not the Scott Strickland, the athletic director at Florida, as y'all know. The Scott Strickland that was there for, I think he was there for they don't really care.
Yeah.
They can win in anything because they're Georgia, but I think he was there for like a decade or so. Out of bounds, ESPN 105.9 The Zone. So that's where we are. Final four. Some of you are in it. Some of you are not. I think when Duke either wins, makes it, or gets their heart ripped out, that is something that all y'all can follow a little bit, even if you don't care. I mean, I love it. I love March Madness. I love hoops. The games have been great. A lot of them have been great. And that Duke-UConn game was one for the history books. Big brands, Hurley, Duke, all that. And Hurley's reaction was insane. And Grant Hill couldn't even say anything.
No. I don't blame him.
We almost lost Bill Raftery. Should I play that? That was crazy. I know it's a little jumbled up but I think that considering that crew, and Grant Hill is one of the most decorated players of all time at Duke, and he was on the call too, and he was speechless. And Raftery is the best to ever do it in college basketball. Legend, Northeast. He was cut out of that Big East movement of John Thompson, Boeheim, Carlissimo, Patino, and Carnesecca, and all those guys. I mean, and that's what you and I mean, early 80s, that's when we were all in. Do you have it?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. This is the call. And this guy said, we almost lost Bill Raftery.
Caravan, 2 seconds. Mullins tosses it up. It's good. We're point 3. UConn goes in front. Utterly impossible. March means drama. The deflection, the reaction, and then the major legends out of Indiana. They all can shoot. Nylon from deep. Astounding.
The freshman, Braylon Mullins. Wow. What a play. All Duke had to do was hold the ball there.
Absolutely.
They didn't need to get rid of it.
No backcourt violation, nothing.
Oh, God. Braylon Mullins. We've talked about the guys. Braylon Mullins. Okay. Hey, what'd you do your freshman year?
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you. Do you have a minute?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it wasn't about, I pledged a fraternity or sorority. I found a cool spot that I like on campus or off. Good grief.
Splash.
Yeah, like you.
Yeah, okay. It was very, very
freshman. I love what Raftery said. they can all shoot it from Indiana.
Yeah.
And this kid, I don't know where this is. He's from Greenfield, Indiana. Braylon Mullins, one that pulled up from 30 and didn't think twice about it.
Yeah.
And knew it when it left his fingertips.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Beautiful shot.
It was bottoms.
And what did Raftery say? Nylon.
Nylon.
Nothing but nylon.
Love that.
That guy at his age, I don't know what he is, 83, 84. That guy at his age, to be able to call that, because everybody goes silent for a minute, and then deflection, reaction. Now, I mean, that was cool.
82.
Is he 82?
82.
Good for that guy.
He was drafted in the 14th round of the NBA draft, by the way. Back in 63.
Let me guess. Celtics?
Knicks.
I was going to go Knicks second,
Had to
and then
be
I was
that.
going to go Pistons.
Yeah.
Because there weren't that many teams.
Nah.
And they were all jumbled up in the Northeast, Midwest until whenever the Lakers broke out.
He was Mr. Basketball?
Yeah?
No way. He was Mr. Basketball USA. Wilt was the first, but he was one of them. How about that?
He's like,
I didn't know that. I mean,
he's damn
he's
near
up
Mount
there.
Rushmore in college basketball.
Yeah, I mean, he's parade All-American.
Raftery's been in the game, obviously, if you just told me he's what?
82.
Okay, so that's 64 years since he was 18 years old.
Good Lord.
He's been part of college hoops and he's been huge in the USA basketball. Him and they got a mafia up there. They've been running that thing.
Oh, yeah.
And they make the call, my man.
Well,
They do. They're very, and then they were the ones that broke the thing where we started playing pros.
Yeah.
Instead, there was this big debate. Bobby Knight won it in 84 with Jordan in that group, okay? Ewing, Jordan, right? And then 88, you had the team. But 92, we all know what happened in Barcelona.
Right.
You had Jordan, you had Magic, you had Bird, you had Stockton, you had Barkley, you had
Everybody.
well, I mean,
Admiral.
that was the evolution of USA basketball. He was part of that mafia.
Yes.
I'm talking about powerful.
Yeah.
Powerful.
Well, I mean, he was a part of the New Jersey, New York 7 conference, the NJNY 7.
There you go. He knows everybody, everywhere, every big time, like Hurley's dad or the Hurleys, Bobby and Danny's dad.
Right.
Look, they've all been hanging out for 60 years. They know from Earl the Pearl to whoever else just came out of one of the boroughs.
Right.
They know them. They know the handlers. They know the AAU guys. They know the legendary high school coaches. They are USA basketball.
Yeah. Do you know anything about this?
And you know what happened after Barca? I mean, it took once we dropped the pros in, right.
It was off.
Yeah.
Do you know anything about the New York, New Jersey 7?
No.
Okay.
Not until you just said it.
It's pretty
But
crazy.
I want to watch a documentary or read about it.
Me too.
Because I can nerd out on that kind of college basketball or history of college basketball.
It was an informal conference.
course.
Basically, they just said, hey, these group of schools are going to play each other a lot
Right.
this season. That's just what it's going to be. You had Columbia, Fordham, Manhattan, Princeton, St. John's, Rutgers, and Seton Hall.
Okay. Man, when it comes to the streets of Philadelphia and Nova and all that, and
that's good basketball.
Cheney and all those guys Riley Massimino, and even fast forward through Jay Wright, through New York and all the boroughs and all the surrounding spots, Raftery knows and knew everybody.
He's the man.
He's lived in the gym, lived in the biggest high school games and college, and of course he's tied into the pros because he's up in the Northeast around the Knicks and Celtics and 76ers and so on.
Is it him and Dickie V and that's it? Well, I mean, Billis maybe.
No, Billis is in now.
Okay, so him, Dickie V, Billis.
I got to think through that.
Tough.
All right, we are the Out of Bounds Show, ESPN Radio. Jay Powell, I almost said Jay Billis. Jay Powell next. Here we go. You can watch the show on YouTube. Search Out of Bounds Sports. We're ESPN 105.9 The Zone. Jay Powell, first-round pick out of Mississippi State under Ron Polk, was part of a World Series team with the Florida Marlins. He's now the Mississippi State baseball. We moved that to ESPN 105.9 The Zone this year, thank God. And Jay coming off calling the series this weekend where Mississippi State dominated and swept Ole Miss. It's a quick turnaround, as we were talking about with Jay. Well, they got a game tomorrow night against Grambling, but then it's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Easter weekend series against Georgia. If you don't have a ticket, good luck. And it is going to be an even bigger weekend than Vanderbilt. So we'll start with Jay. We're going to start with pitching. And Jay talked to us about this within the last couple of weeks. With McPherson out, Charlie Foster got thrown into the mix. You've been there before. How impressed were you with what he did against Elliott at Ole Miss?
Well, I thought out of all the games, Friday night was going to be tough. And, you know, everybody I've told, Charlie Foster has Friday night stuff. There's no question. I mean, it ain't like we're taking somebody in the back end of the bullpen trying to start them. And I personally was glad to see it because I obviously have a relationship with Charlie going back to summer ball. But, I mean, that's what we all see, the capabilities of Charlie Foster. It really is. I mean, Charlie can go out there and be a number one guy in the SEC. And if he can command the strike zone, that's what you'll get out of him. I mean, it's not a shock to me because that's the kind of stuff he has. And you can make an argument as good as Tomas has been. Stuff-wise, Charlie's right there with him. Now, he doesn't have that slider that Tomas has, but stuff-wise, he's pretty close.
Jay Powell on the Out of Bounds show. When talking about Hunter Elliott, and he drops that 91 to 92, but then he goes back to 80 with that off-speed stuff. Talk about that as a pitcher and what that's like tough, as a hitter.
Man. Hunter Elliott, I said on the broadcast, to me, he's one of the top three in the SEC. The changeup, it comes out of, you know, we used to say it comes off the same plane as the fastball. The word now is tunnel. It tunnels the same as that fastball. And you've got the same arm speed. You've got as a hitter, you're recognizing it in the same spot as release point. It's not 92 though; it's 81, and it's just
filthy.
It is really good. That kid can pitch. You know, somebody said that the state's lost like game one, and I'm like, well, I mean that's probably the reason why. A kid's been pitching game one for him for 2 or 3 years. But yeah, Hunter Elliott's really, really good. He's gonna have a good pro career too. Mm-hmm. He really is.
Jay Powell on the Out of Bounds show, brought to you by Mississippi's College Town. They're hosting the MTA Big Summit this week and then the 3-game series against Georgia. You can hear Neil and Jay on ESPN 105.9 The Zone or stream it throughout the weekend. Okay, Jay, Ben Davis. Mm-hmm. Friday night does not go like he wants it. So you've been there. That's eating him up Friday. Saturday you have to sit, and then he goes back in the game on Sunday. What'd you see?
Command was obviously better. Stuff was a lot better. And I think Oak alluded to that on the post-game show. His stuff Sunday was more Ben Davis stuff, mid-high 90s sinker, hard sinker. Didn't quite have it for whatever Friday night. Here's my take on Ben Davis, and this just from the view from the press box and being down there. I think sometimes, like Friday night, and Ben knows when he goes in the game, his job is to finish the game.
Right.
I think as a reliever, sometimes you're so geared on just emotion and adrenaline and everything else, and you go in the 7th inning, it's almost like you tamp that down a little bit because you say, okay, I've got to go 7, 8, 9.
Right.
And I think that it causes him maybe to be a little more tentative, maybe knowing that he has to finish it. And I think yesterday they put him in, and he knew, hey, I just go to I can go. And when I'm done, I'm done because I got guys behind me. They're not expecting me to finish this thing. And I think mentally for him, that's a little bit, I think that frees him up a little bit mentally. And, the 3-inning save is tough to do anyway. And especially because you got to throw 3 innings, but 2, if people say, well, starters throw 7, those are the 3 highest leveraged innings of the game, and you're going to ask a guy to do it. And it's tough. So I think that mentally probably freed him up a little bit yesterday, knowing that he doesn't have to finish it.
How impressed were you with the response? Mississippi State led the whole way, and then Ole Miss flips it. And then in the top of the 9th, How impressed were you've been there on the road in the SEC? Even though Ole Miss doesn't have the win-loss record they want, they have players.
100%.
How impressed were you at the top of the ninth?
I mean, it just, it's what I think we've grown accustomed to seeing a Mississippi State program being about, in the sense that they're built on toughness. They're built on just grinding every at bat out, every pitch. That's what we've kind of, I felt like, honestly, we're going to have a shot. Somebody's going to get on, and then we got a shot. But to do that, to get a base hit, and then, Bryce Chance doing what he does, and gets that double, and all of a sudden there's 3 or 4 pitches into it, you got second, third, no outs. I thought it was a great move too, because Maluski's done a tremendous job behind the plate. He's kind of settled us in defensively, but pinch hitting Sean James right there, to me, was that. I mean, you got to give Oak some credit there, because Maluski's kind of an all or nothing guy. You didn't need that there. You needed somebody to give you a good at bat. Not that Kevin wouldn't have, but he's going to put the ball in play. He's going to put it in play. He's going to hit it. Kevin may hit one 700 feet, but he may strike out. But you knew Sean's a little more shorter swing guy, and is going to put it in play somewhere and score those runs. And he hit a missile in right field.
Jay Powell on the Out of Bounds show with Jacob Parker. O'Connor told people, hey, he's got all the talent in the world, but in the fall, they didn't think he was going to make an impact as a freshman. So he kept working over the winter.
Right.
And then the 6 weeks leading in the season, he made some stuff happen. Twice in the last 2 weeks, Jay, O'Connor's talked about how we can't keep him out of the lineup.
Yep.
What do you see from his approach at the plate?
Well, let me back up. He works out in the fall and in the Christmas holidays with his brother JoJo, Connor Griffin. Those 3 guys I see all the time at Grit. So there's a little bit of a higher level of maturity he has than a lot of freshmen. And I said on the broadcast yesterday, it takes a really special, talented hitter. Pitchers can kind of come in as a freshman with stuff and get guys out. Man, that's a tough adjustment for a hitter. And to me, he's a guy that would have been a high draft pick. And even those guys, sometimes you see take some time. And look, it's taking him a little time. But, boy, he is so talented and physically. But the level of maturity he has as a hitter fits the bill, honestly, of the 2 guys he works out with a lot.
And Oak, if you're whoever's playing the best,
100%
plays.
Yeah, and
he signed a guy he brought in a guy from Virginia, and not only, and he's like, okay, you're producing, we're playing you.
Yeah,
I like that.
And the kids respect that.
Right.
They may not like it some days when they're sitting on the bench, but they know at the end of the day, they respect it. And that's, as a former high school coach, even I always said the kids know who should be playing.
Absolutely.
They know who deserves to play. And there's, if you go out there and contribute, you're going to play, and the kids know that and respect that.
Jay Powell on the Out of Bounds show, ESPN 105.9 The Zone. We've talked to you about this. When Tomas comes out and he's not pitching at the level he wants to, and yet he's able to stay in the game and get the punch or get the outs that he needs.
Yep.
What does that say to somebody who pitched as long as you did?
He's a true number 1 guy. That was probably he had good stuff, but he couldn't land his slider like he normally did or normally does. And so he wasn't quite as sharp, but you look up and what he throw 6 innings or whatever he threw, and it was basically dominated them. That's the meaning of a true number 1 guy, when he can go out there without his best stuff and still not only give you a chance to win, but dominate them. And look, he's running himself up the board next year as a draft pick. He's liable to be a top 10 pick. He's that good. Stuff mid-90s, that slider's incredible. And he competes, and that's what you love to see. It's nothing crazy, showy. But he just competes
methodical.
and competes and competes, and we said on I told Neil the broadcast yesterday. I think State figured it out. I think Justin Parker does a really good job of scouting, and he'll sit there and watch them take BP, and you could tell about midway through the first game really that Ole Miss has got a bunch of big boppers, and they're gonna have a hard time hitting in the SEC because of their approaches. And he figured it out. He said, look, if you're going to beat us, you're going to have to get to the ball inside. They have a lot of loop in their swing, and that's what we said on the broadcast yesterday with Oak. I thought our pitchers and Justin did an incredible job of executing a game plan, not only to begin with, but you could see it adjust on the fly throughout the game. And they did. I mean, Ole Miss left a bunch of guys on base, but really the only reason they got them on base because we walked 8 yesterday. So you got to give our guys credit for making that adjustment during the game and executing it.
Okay, what about Jay Powell on the Out of Bounds show, brought to you by Taste Italian Kitchen in Starkville and the Renaissance? Speaking of yesterday, you win 2, and we see this in the league. You let your guard down just a little bit, okay? It's 2-1 before you could even get a Coca-Cola. All right. So Duke Stone's out. He walked 7 guys. Yet when the bases got juiced, he and others did what they needed to do. Right. Talk about that.
Well, and that was a concern, I think, probably to the coaches and everybody. You've won 2. Are you still going to have that edge on game 3 on Sunday? Because you see so many times you win 2, you go out there and lay an egg Sunday. But no, I mean, Duke yesterday, the thing Duke has most time is he has elite command. Like, his command's incredible, and he attacks the hitters. He goes at them quick. Yesterday wasn't his best as far as his command. But, and I think honestly, he got a little tentative, and then he realized, okay, I've got to get a little more aggressive with his fastball. So he made that adjustment. But, and people can say, oh man, they just missed a couple. No, I mean, when he got guys on base, a couple times he ended up finishing the inning with strikeouts. And I mean, he bared down and made a pitch when he had to. And I think that's a little bit of a mental thing from not only the pitcher, but the entire team that, okay, when it gets really tough, we've got to be at our best. And that's kind of what you saw with Duke yesterday.
Situational hitting.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't come through for Ole Miss this weekend, but it did for Mississippi State. And it really, you mentioned, like, the 3 catchers all had big hits over the weekend. That doesn't happen.
No.
So tell me about what
you got to give the coaches credit for that, because, and that's to me one of the things I've said all along, because how it is. Look, it's still college sports, but it's kind of professional sports. And so you've got a group of guys that you have to make sure they buy into their role.
Yeah.
And that, as a coach, is one of the hardest things, because everybody wants to play. If a perfect world, everybody would play, but there's only 9 guys on the field. So you've got to make sure, 1, you keep these guys sharp, and 2, that you can keep kind of the train moving forward and not let everybody get off the tracks and start feeling sorry for themselves and pouting. And man, so far, I mean, and I think Oak's done a great job of creating that environment and that culture, but the kids also, I mean, you look down there, I mean, it's a different vibe. They're having fun, but there's not a lot of BS. I mean, it's just, they're having fun. They're pulling for each other. It's just, they've kind of bought into it. And that's a dangerous thing, honestly. I mean, because they're pulling for each other and they've bought into their role. And when their number's called or their name's called, they've pretty much delivered.
All right. What do you see? Like, Bryce Chance can't go hitless. He refuses to do it. And yesterday he did the same thing, Jay.
It's the poor man's Jake Mangum.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not flashy. He is a tough out, and he's so short to the ball. He's a good fastball hitter, and I will give that kid credit, because he was a good high school player. He was. But to hit 450 something, I mean, and it's Bryce. It's nobody but Bryce. He's worked his tail off. We brought in how many other outfielders? You got a kid could have been a first round pick down campus. Bryce didn't say, I'm going to Southern Miss.
Right.
He said, no, I'm good. And I tell you, to me, what he did is, I've heard the kids talk about how hard he worked in the fall, because they did some stuff, where they competed with each other and some fitness stuff, and how hard it was to beat Bryce Chance. And so immediately, you got a bunch of these guys coming from Virginia and everywhere else, and they say, okay, that's our guy. It goes back to, when we had Connor at Jackson Prep as a junior. I had a catcher named Duncan Matthews, who's at South Alabama now. and Connor was 6'5", 210, and I said, our alpha dog is that 5'3" catcher behind the plate. That's our guy. And it's a little bit like that with Bryce. You know, he just is that gritty, hard-nosed player that everybody just looks at and says, that's our dude.
So from walk-on to hitting 450.
Mm-hmm. I mean, look, I'm telling you, I give him all credit in the world because that kid is quiet. I mean, I've talked to him maybe once in 3 years up there. I mean, he just is a quiet kid. He just focused on what he's doing, and he doesn't run from competition. And as a coach, I really appreciate that because a lot of kids do that anymore. They don't do that anymore. They jump bridge and go somewhere else. He's not done it, and he's had every reason to, but he stayed through it, and he's being rewarded.
It's like the catchers thing. You know, they've all shuffled in and out for a variety of reasons, and yet they all had big hits this week. Mm-hmm. That's on Oak and the staff.
Yep, it is.
And the culture.
No doubt. It's a culture that he's created of discipline, of, you've got some situation where, you're holding there's some accountability. They're structured, their intent. I mean, it's a different vibe.
Jay Powell on the Out of Bounds Show, brought to you by Grit Fitness and Training. He's the director of baseball operations there. He mentioned all the guys that go through there and that work out. Connor Griffin, Jake Mangum, JT Ginn, Jacob Parker, among many, many others. Grit Fitness and Training, Flowwood. It's right behind Ergon and Mirror Lake. Okay, back to O'Connor and Oak. How would you describe, he's beyond intense. How would you describe his personality?
The times I've been around him, I mean, it's very, nice guy. Oak's a very nice guy. But I just get the sense that when he steps on, he's a little bit like me in the sense that, people ask, boy, I bet you love to win. I'm like, not really. I just hate to lose. Like I can't deal. The winning's almost a relief. Like it's the losing that eats at you. And I think he's a little bit like that. I mean, when he steps on between those lines and he gets in that dugout, there's not a lot of wasted energy. I mean, his purpose is to go out there and win a ball game.
I can listen to him all day.
Yeah.
Post game.
Yeah.
A lot. Cause he's so serious. And so he's like, he gives them the time, but you can tell his mind, it's like Saban, his mind's thinking about the next whatever they got to do.
Yeah. I mean, it's, when they hired him and I told Zach, I said, he may not win a game at Mississippi State. I said, but there's no way anybody can tell you didn't hire the best guy for the job. I mean, he was by far the best guy. And if you can bring him in, then you knocked it out of the park. And he's just taken it and ran with it. And that's when you look at Mississippi State baseball, there's going to be years where you maybe don't do what you want to do, or, you have some injuries or whatever, but that's what you expect out of the program. I mean, you expect that.
How big a deal is it? Justin Parker's still young. Mm-hmm. You were an MLB pitcher and a pitching coach. How big of an impact and how big a deal is it for his career to be able to get to coach with Oak?
I think, and I know Justin fairly well. I've never had this discussion with him about what his plans are long-term. I mean, but I think that if he has, thoughts of being a head coach one day in the SEC, which I think, he could possibly get that, I think last year did a lot for him as far as holding that ship together.
No question.
But I think if he has that idea going forward and kind of that dream and goal, then I think being under Brown, I just feel like if you coach it under Oak, you're going to learn a lot about how the way a program should be ran.
Right.
And so, yeah, I mean, if that's where Justin wants to be one day, I think this is honestly going to just kind of, it's going to elevate him to a point, not only with his career, but with his name being put out there as potential replacements to some of these other schools.
Yeah. I think O'Connor's organizational structure, Jay, is kind of like Saban, Signetti, even Lane now in football. It's so layered now because there's so many different things going on. And like you said, it's pro ball and college ball. And I feel like Oak's figured that out. I mean, there'll be adversity. You're going to lose games.
Yep.
But he knows how to do it in this era.
Yeah.
Even though he's from 2 eras ago.
Right. And it's, he's dealing with stuff too at Mississippi State probably that with the ability to now go out and get players on campus that he didn't have at Virginia.
Right.
And so I think that's obviously a welcome change for him a little bit, but he's learned he knows how to navigate that. He knows how to navigate, and it's tough, man, because, you've got to make some of these decisions on some of these players in the portal, and you don't have a lot of tape on them. You don't have, you're trying to get as much info as you can. You're trying to do that. But, the agent's calling and saying, hey, we got this from this team, that team. It's just, you've got to make some snap decisions. And that, you're going to miss on some. You're going to miss on some. You're going to hit on some. The kid we had a few years ago, the pitcher from Indiana State.
Yeah.
I can't even remember his name now, but he was supposed to be our weekend guy. And he never even got any innings.
His numbers were insane, and they were top 5 all year.
Yeah. And all of a sudden, he gets on the SEC and he can't get anybody out. So you've got to make some really quick decisions. And I think he understands how to navigate that.
We got 1 minute. If there's one concern you have, what is it?
Health.
Yeah.
Just stay healthy. And I really say that. This team can be really special. Does that mean they're going to national championship? No. It means they got the pieces to put together to make a serious run at a national championship. But they got to stay healthy. And it's nothing anybody's fault. Like with Ryan and some of these guys, it's just baseball, man.
Sure.
It's pitchers. But if they can stay healthy, I feel like the bullpen's starting to come together. The pieces are starting to figure each other out.
Friday night closer.
You've got some big time arms on that team. You've got an offense that's one of the best in the country. Defensively, they're elite. Don't overlook that. They're elite defensively. And I mentioned it to Oak yesterday. We talked about the offense and pitching so much. I said, dude, you guys can play defense. He said, I'm glad you brought that up. You got an elite defender at first baseman. You got an elite defender at shortstop. The outfield, you got 3 center fielders playing out there. Maluski's now kind of solidified the catching part of it. Ace has gotten a lot better at third. He's an above-average defender. Garrick Fry, Drew Wires, you're an elite defending club, and that makes a big difference.
To piggyback off of what you said, the Ryan Woodson evaluation and pickup with not a lot of PT at NC State goes to Oak and people in-house.
He's going to be a good pro player, too, I think.
Jay Powell on the Out of Bounds show, Mississippi State, MLB, and now MSU baseball color analyst. You can listen to the games on ESPN 105.9 The Zone, brought to you by Grit Fitness and Training on Lakeland Drive. They've totally renovated the building.
Yep.
It looks amazing. They've got indoor turf and pitching mounds, outdoor turf, monthly memberships. Jay's the director of baseball operations, and they've got great players from junior high up that are training there, high school, college, and we mentioned Connor and Mangum. And Mangum got a double and inserted into the starting lineup over the weekend, made a hell of a play at the fence, of course, on the wall, and so on. Jay, we appreciate your time.
Man, enjoyed it.
Jay Powell on the Farm Bureau Insurance guest line. Thanks for listening to the show. If you missed anything, go to Spotify, search Out of Bounds with Bo Bounds, or hit the YouTube channel, Out of Bounds Sports. Lunch today brought to you by Taste Italian Kitchen in the Renaissance and Taste Italian Kitchen in Starkville. We'll see you tomorrow.